So I'd like to introduce you now to the Enneagram. So what is the Enneagram? And for any of you who've done a little bit of Google searching, and you've probably seen this diagram. So who's seen this diagram somewhere online? And who feels they understand the diagram? Okay, so that's a good starting point for me. Ennea itself is means 9 in Greek, and the word gram means point. So if you look at this, these are 9 different points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 different points in the Enneagram, and it's basically 9 different ways of showing up in the world, 9 different ways of seeing the world, 9 different lenses you may wear to different perspectives on the world. It's just 9 different ways that people operate in the world, 9 different ways that people survive in the world. This explains a lot of the human behavior. It can be categorized into quite neatly into 9 different patterns of behavior. So the Enneagram itself is a psychological tool which is used in personal development, business. A lot of Fortune 500 companies use the Enneagram. At the same time, it's used in counseling, one-to-one therapy, coaching. It's also used in spiritual direction, used for personal and spiritual transformation. So the applications for the Enneagram are immense, but you have to know what it's about and what it's for. So what do lines and numbers mean? So let's put some numbers on the Enneagram. So what you have here is a triangle, 3, 6, 9. And you've got something 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, all linked together. So I want to tell you something quite interesting. If you've got your phone, you just take out your calculator. Okay, everyone has a phone. You take out a calculator and type on your calculator 1 divided by 7. So the first person who spots the pattern between what's on the calculator and what's on here, you get a prize.
Ooh.
What do you see?
The red line.
The red line.
Yeah.
Tell me what you see.
1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 9.
Continuously. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7 recurring. It's 1 divided by 7. Also known as the law of 7. Gurdjieff, one of the earliest Enneagram founders, came up with this, and he came up with this shape. So it's kind of how things operate, the processes in which people move around in the world. Also it can be akin to how people function on the horizontal plane, how people go around their lives. So if you take it one step further, if you're one of these 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, to operate in this world, you're going to kind of move along this line continuously. You'll be just going round and round and round. Something called the process Enneagram. If you're part of the triangle, and it's a little bit complicated here, but just if any of you have been type 3, 6, or 9, then you don't necessarily need to go around the world in order to survive. You're kind of, there's a quality about people on the triangle where they say you're either on the triangle or you're not on the triangle, depending on type. There's the quality of the 3, 6, 9. It kind of holds up the world, holds up the universe, and these people are often found in the cornerstones of like business, finance, government. Very kind of professions whereby you're kind of holding up the world. But if you're the 1, 4, 2, 5, 8, 7, you're kind of a little bit of a different qualities to it. So you're kind of moving around. That's what a lot of the theory says. You got to check that out for yourselves, how that works with you. So the morning Enneagram consists of a circle, equilateral triangle, and that hexagonal shape. 6 different points there. So the 9 points are laid evenly across the circumference of the circle, with each number representing a type. And okay, this is a dynamic system. So movement along the lines is allowed. I talked about the law of 7. You move along the lines. So what happens, and a lot of you have done the Enneagram test. For example, if you're a 2 wing 1, what that means, you're at a point 2 with a 1 wing. So you're kind of you've moved closer to 1 than a 2 wing 3, which would be more around here. And if you cross the midpoint, you'll be considered a 3 wing 2. So it's a continuous system, and you can lie on any point around the circumference of the circle. So which makes it dynamic. So you're not exactly the same as everyone else who's a 1 wing 2, for example. You may be your 2 wing may be stronger, you may be closer to the midpoint than the 2. At the same time, you can move along the lines. So that's why a lot of the tests can be very, very confusing, because what happens, you may, for example, you may be a 4 who's at point 2. I didn't put the arrows here, but it's often considered the stress point 2. So this may be your home point. You only have one home point, according to the theory, and this is checked out over thousands of people around the world. So you may be at point 2, and your test may be a 2, but because you're moving along the line, you'll be there under stress. At the same time, a 2 under stress may type as an 8, but that's their home point, but they've moved along the lines. That's how you show up in the world. You may operate differently. A 3 may show up as a 9 if they're under stress and they're just not operating in their main capacity as a 3. So they've moved along the lines and they're operating from a point 9 standpoint rather than their home point. But you only on the health though, you will return to your home point, and that's how you will operate, best function and operate in the world. I'm not going to get too deep today, because today's just an introduction to the Enneagram, so we can talk a little about that later. So I studied at the school called Enneagram in the Narrative Tradition. The website's enneagramworldwide.com, and they teach a 3-centered awareness, and what they teach is a type structure. So this may look pretty complicated, but it's nothing more than mental is your head, emotions your heart, instinctual is your body. So it's an integration of your mind, your emotions, and your body. And that kind of, you've got a mental intelligence, you've got emotional intelligence, instinctual intelligence, and that kind of makes the Enneagram a very integrated system. How you transform your habits of thinking to some kind of higher level of thinking, or higher, they call it holy ideas, which is basically a good attribute or good quality that your type may have. But when you're contracted, if you're contracted down here, your world becomes smaller and you're not able to operate from a very healthy standpoint, and you may show up in the world a lot differently from what happens if you are set free from your patterns of behavior that bond you and tie you. You have what's known as a freely flowing life force. Again, no need to take all this on board now. I mean, I could easily talk another whole lecture on this subject, but just to give you some kind of flavor and understanding, so that there are 3 centers, and there are 3 centers of awareness, and the Enneagram combines the mind, the heart, and the body together.